In this video, we're going to be changing the oil on a 2007 Ford Escape with the 3-liter V6 engine. I like to go ahead and drive up onto some 2x4s. It's going to give us a little bit of extra clearance while we're working under the car. Go ahead and take off the oil filler cap so that we get a smooth flow of oil coming out from underneath. Now I'm working a pretty awkward angle here, so you'll notice that I put my offhand over the head of the ratchet where the socket is to help keep everything at a 90-degree angle, and that's going to help prevent us from rounding off the bolt, which can happen when you're pulling on it with force at some weird angles. And if you round off the bolt, you won't be able to get it off at all, possibly. So. For 131,000 miles, this car definitely has some clean looking oil coming out of there for an oil change interval that's a little over 4,000 miles. So that's definitely a good sign for this car. I usually go ahead and let my oil drain out for about a half hour, so I'll do some other things in the meantime and then come back out and put that oil drain bolt back on. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the threads and the area around it with a paper towel. Then we can go ahead and thread in our bolt just using our fingers. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure you have your socket directly onto that head of the bolt, and also make sure you're using a 6-point socket if your bolt has 6 points on its head, which they almost always do. But this bolt has a little bit of rounding on the edges, and that's why I'm mentioning it. I think the previous owners rounded it off a little bit, but nothing that we can't handle. Now onto the oil filter. There's no great way to do it on this car. You're definitely going to make a little bit of a mess no matter what you do, but it's really not too hard to get to. It's just tucked up under the front manifold. Hopefully yours is on there just hand tight. You might have to use an oil filter wrench, but usually with a good grippy glove you're able to just get it with your hand. And make sure you have your oil catch pan underneath to collect any of the oil that is going to drip down no matter what you do. And then for installing the new filter, pretty straightforward. I like to go ahead and fill it about halfway up with oil, just so the new filter is a little bit pre-filled, and put some oil on the O-ring, and then it'll pretty much just thread right on. and you'll definitely want to hit up Walmart to get the oil filter. They carry pretty much all of the Ford brand Motorcraft oil filters, and a great value at just under $4. We also got our oil at Walmart for this video, the 5-quart Castrol Edge high mileage jug. I think it was about $25, so definitely a good deal. And then this engine takes a little over 6 quarts, so I think about 6.5 in total. So I had some leftover 5W20 Castrol GTX that we mixed in there. Now, once you go ahead and check your oil level on your dipstick and make sure everything looks good, you can go ahead and start her up, take her for a ride around the block, and then come back, let it sit for a little bit so that the oil collects down in the pan, and check your level again and make any adjustments as needed, and you should be ready to roll. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. Toolbox out.